Hi everyone, it's Sunday, December 12th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. So as we wind down toward the end of the year holidays, there's general stability in the Hide market, pretty much in all regions, with just a few items being the exceptions. So let's start with Europe this week, where sales to Asia have helped stabilize things. Now that said, when it comes to new purchases, editor Andrea Guolo says that no one is really in a hurry, even though for some selections, they're expecting increases in January. In the UK, British sellers were still upping their asking prices, but sales concluded were at the same levels as last week. Trading took place at 95 cents sterling for the 36 plus in England, while in Ireland it was steady again at 90 cents in euros. When it comes to bulls, they were particularly weak, and that's because slaughter is plentiful and demand is not. Sales of southern German selections were generally closed at €1.40, but there could be a marked difference between what different sellers could get for these hides. In looking at European cows, they were moving well at steady prices, and in the veal sector, nothing has really changed, and prices, as always, depend entirely on the quality and along with the quantity available. In his analysis, Andrea looks at the end of the year orders, and mainly he takes a look at what the expectations are for the start of the new year in the European hide market. Turning to the U.S. market, prices were again mainly steady, but also, again, interest was not voluminous, and the bid prices were lower than most sellers wanted to entertain. Looking at heavy Texas steers, they were steady again this week at $33 for seasonal weights, and overall, steer interest was lagging, and that's especially because customers in China have backed off purchasing. Now, that is probably also because the window for having shipments arrive before the Lunar New Year closures, that window has now closed. In the cow sector, sellers have plentiful interest and are still in good shape, and the only downside there is shipping, which is the limiting factor for that sector. Combined export sales for the week ending December 2nd were just 360,200, and that's down by 37% from the previous week. Combined shipments were also lower at 477,600, which is down by 6%. Slaughter for the week through Saturday, December 11th was 668,000, down just 1% from last week. Turning to South America, editor Ronald Guiel says that raw material prices stabilized this week after having a recent declining trend for the past few weeks. The average price was $3.68 per kilo for raw material. TR1 was steady again with a reference price of $1 per square foot. Now, prices in the rest of Latin America also remained steady during the week with no real changes. In other news from Brazil, that country's November hide exports were lower, and in fact they were 31% lower than October in value and 33% in square meters. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's November slaughter was the lowest in 6 years. Colombia's Expo Artesanias will be returning to an in-person format, and Uruguay's slaughter will end the year at record levels. That's all we have for this week, and as a reminder, next week will be our last reports and video before the new year. I'll be back with more videos in 2022, starting on January 9th. And so until next week, good night from HideNet.